And now we are live. Yes. So welcome everybody. If you're joining us and from wherever you're joining us, you're welcome to this live. Yes. And this is Wajiro from Kenya to Japan with my guest today, Anderson Karige. And I'm so excited because we'll be sharing today about teaching opportunities in Vietnam. We've been talking about Japan a lot, and this is time to explore other countries. Yes, and I'm happy because my good friend Anderson is here with us today to share with us. I'm excited because he's also a teacher. He's teaching English and he's also teaching IELTS, and he'll be telling us about that. But before that, let's start with a word of prayer. So let us pray. Thank you so much, Heavenly Father, for this opportunity. And we pray that you will give us a wonderful time in this session. And I pray for everyone who will be watching this broadcast. I pray that, Lord, you know their hearts, you know their desires and their prayers, you know the opportunities and the doors they are knocking. I pray that you will hear them and that you will open them for them. Thank you for my guest today. May you bless him for his generous heart and willingness to come share with us today. Begin with us and be with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Yes, so here we are. I'm excited. Thank you for everyone who's joining us today. Please leave your questions in the comment section if you have questions for our guest about teaching in Vietnam. But before that, let's get to know our guest. So, Anderson, welcome. Please introduce yourself. Just tell us who you are, first of all, before we get to what you do.
Thank you so much, Joy. I'm happy to be here. And thanks for the opportunity actually to just come and talk about ways of at least building yourself career-wise and whatnot. I
Mhm.
think those are important topics for Kenyans, East Africans, and the whole lot. So I'm Anderson Karige, Anderson Yeshohe Karige. Thank you so much. You introduced me Kidogo by my name.
Mhm. Yes.
27 of age, and I'm Kenyan, of course. I'm in Kenya, and I'm currently working and living in Vietnam.
Mhm.
Uh, Other than that, I am, I guess, a creative person. I do enjoy food and just adventure. Sometimes
Mhm.
also, I do try. I do enjoy my own company, so I keep to myself when I'm alone,
Mhm.
and I just get to do my work and stay with my thoughts and plans. I usually think it's an important thing to do, and I think that's one of the main reasons how I even got to Vietnam.
Okay.
That's just introduction. I think it's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. Well, the interesting thing is that Anderson was actually my colleague. So
Yes.
I worked with him a bit in Vietnam and also in Kenya, and I'm so excited that, finally we transitioned from what we were
I
doing to now teaching.
know. And yeah, like that
Hmm.
transition. I don't even know how to call it. It was so epic. I mean, now you can look back and say, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago was Kidogo time, but I mean, it's a long time, but honestly, it's a short time for that career mobility that we had to do and shift. And that was
Yes.
supposed to be kind of my opening statement that to anybody who's watching or who will even watch
Mm.
it later, I'm sure you are, or you might know someone who is in a position where, maybe you're educated or you have a sort of skill and you're back home in
Mm.
Kenya and there's no monetary value that you're getting from your skill. Yes, you may be building your network and doing a couple of
Mm.
gigs there, but at the end of the day, from Fuko or whatever is in your pocket is not making sense. So
Mm.
honestly, when we came to Vietnam the first time we ever visited or worked in a different capacity, we got to meet some foreigners who were teachers, and we discovered
Mm.
that there's this whole other game. In fact, the lady we met was in our apartment block, and
Apartment, yes.
she was like a Kikuyu girl from Nairobi who had been here.
Imagine.
So we
Yes.
were like, Kumbe, there are Kenyans in these countries. You never know, like Vietnam, Cambodia, Japan, South Korea, the
Mm.
famous places for, ESL or teaching English to foreign learners. And
Yes.
it's a gig I believe most Kenyans and other, the continent at
Mm.
large can really get into.
Yes.
Yeah. Because if you're, let me just say, and being very honest, if come on when you
Mm.
say, like people who are in the middle class and below in Kenya, particularly, I know you're feeling the punches of the economy
Yeah.
one way or the other. Not just this year, but over the last, like from 2018, 2019,
Mm.
to now, there's just been, like underemployment and
Yes.
whatnot. And even if you are employed, luckily, there's some things that still
Mm.
don't make. After we were told that education's the key, and now you have the key, you're like, where's the door? Now you're
Where's the
looking.
door? Where's the door? Yes.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
sent at some point. I would really encourage people to look towards also the east, because
Mm.
honestly, they are doing our investments back home. They're building our roads and whatnot.
Yes.
But what's
Mm.
another way we can also, build something for ourselves by coming here. There's biashara. You can do sourcing. Come in
Yes.
here, you teach, which is what we're going to be talking about
Yes.
today. So for
Mm.
me, look at the other way. In fact, Joy, I'm sure
Yes.
you will get into it later, but
Yes.
Kenyan, rather English teachers in one different capacities of teaching English, I think
Mm.
their salary wage is a bit higher than some jobs which you might, consider
Yeah.
from like, the Gulf areas and
Mm.
Europe, like towards what you end up actually pocketing and saving,
Mm.
like they
Yes.
kuna pesa kuna mali ya
That's so
kuvuna.
true. I agree
Yeah,
with you. And you know what you're saying is actually just encouraging us not to give up,
yeah,
because I feel like, the thing is, we were among those people who got badly affected by COVID because we lost our jobs and we were stuck at home, after traveling. And then,
yeah,
wow, you're back home and the job is over and COVID is here and companies have closed. And you're like, what do you do? And, as you mentioned, one of the things that came to mind is after we went to Vietnam and met people teaching English, you're like, wow, you mean people can do this? So, and yeah, here we are. I believe, we should, when one door closes, look to other doors that have opened here, and you never know. Just the most important thing is never give up. That's the most important thing. Yeah. Okay, now let's go to our topic for today. So, Andy, you're a teacher in Vietnam. So, so what kind of where schools do you teach? Do you teach the government public schools or private schools, or please help us to understand what you do.
sure. So to unpack that, I'll start with the target group. So when you're thinking
Mm-hmm.
about countries, there's first of all K, that is kindergarten to grade 12.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure now Kenyans are aware of those, different grades. And
Yeah.
so I teach all the way from kindy to grade 12, and now I'm
Mm.
just getting adults. So that's two different groups. So there's the K to 12, and then there's the adults.
Mm.
It
Mm-hmm.
depends. The one, of course, is K to 12, which is kindergarten level up to grade 12, and there you
Yeah.
have primary school. After kindergarten, there's middle school,
Mm.
which is what we used to know as secondary school, and then there
Yeah.
is high school, of course, high school kids, which is,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
don't know, it depends on people's personalities and what they prefer, but I'm flexible
Mm.
all levels. So um, now location, or rather, let me say now, how do I say the schools? So
Mm.
I'm employed by a language institution or center, and
Mm.
we for our own students, so private students do come to the language center, and then that's from
Mm-hmm.
kindergarten all the way to adults, but
Yes.
popular was just their secondary, high school, up out
Mm.
your the biggest lots. And other than that, my
Mm-hmm.
language is also outsourced by the government in the province that I live in to teach
Mm.
public schools. So we normally
Okay.
teach in primary school, middle school, and primary
Mm.
school, middle school, and high school. So we teach also in public schools, mostly during the day,
Mm.
especially in the start of the academic year. We teach during the day, and then in the evening, if you're lucky and not too busy, you can teach at the center for evening classes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wait, how many jobs are those? Are
So
those like 5 jobs?
honestly, one job, it's not. It might seem like it's a lot, but once you're
Yeah.
here on the like things just roll, like you get into it, and so a typical day of the school year, I would
Mm-hmm.
wake up around 6 or 7 a.m.
Yeah.
At least by 8 I know the first lesson has started. So
Mm.
you with me, you teach the now I'd be going to a public school in the morning. I'd be
Mm-hmm.
going so from 8 or 7:30 sometimes.
Yeah.
Now that is a confusion that I don't want to get to, because winter classes start a bit earlier, but sorry, winter
Mm.
classes start late, and summer classes start earlier because you don't want it to be too
Mm.
hot in school, and you don't want to wake up
Oh.
too cold for the kids to be on the road, and generally everyone. So
Oh.
30, let's just stick to 7:30. 7:30 to 11 a.m. you teach in the
Mm.
morning, and then you
Yeah.
break from up to 2. You remember that culture, Vietnamese culture,
Mm.
is we
Yes.
for lunch, and also because of how hot it can get,
Mm.
and you don't want to be outside, heat strokes and whatnot. So up
Yes.
to 2 p.m. Then 2 p.m. you can walk up to 5 in a public school, and after
Mm.
that, break for some time up to 7:30 p.m. Then
Mm.
7 teach up to 9 p.m. at a language center. So it's one job,
Oh.
but you revolve around, at least in
Mm. Yeah.
is it Bali, like ni hapo tu penye unaishi, where you live, you have your center
Mm.
around there, and then the schools just within your area.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense. That sounds so much like what I do because I work for here in Japan. We call them eikawa. So
Mhm.
eikawa is like an after school. So it's a center. So I wait for the students to come. So I wait for the students to come, and sometimes the school gets contracted by the government to go and teach in either city hall or schools. So sometimes I get to do that as well. But yeah, so I also like kind of you just kind of go around all these places. And I also have adults coming, after office hours. So I find myself in the all, teaching from 8 to 9 sometimes. So sounds so much
Exactly.
like what I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. Yes, go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's quite similar. It's quite
Yeah,
similar. Yeah.
that's right.
And
Now
I
I know
think
people. Mhm.
and I think the narrative between all the other Asian countries.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I think that's how it works. Yeah. Now let's get you talking about let's talk about because I know many people want to know how do you if there are there opportunities, how
Yeah.
do I apply? So let's talk about how if someone is interested in teaching in Vietnam,
Yeah.
what are the opportunities? Yeah, and let's also talk about what are the requirements. Yes. So let's start with the requirements and also opportunities. And I know many people usually ask, do I need a teaching degree or what? What does that? Do I just need any degree?
Yeah. Okay. As for Vietnam at the time of speaking, this is we have to say this is when 1st October, first of all, 2022. At the time of recording this in Vietnam, uh, there there's two types of teachers recognized by the government
Mm.
of Vietnam. That is
Yeah.
native English speakers and non-native English speakers. So
Mm-hmm.
because of course hapo ni, I don't want to say wazungu, but basically anybody who's a citizen or a resident of the G7 basically. So we're talking
Mm.
America,
Yeah.
the UK, New Zealand, Australia, and I think, I don't know, the other one, Canada, something like that.
Mm.
So,
And I think South Africa, right?
and South Africa was removed or is getting removed from
Oh,
that
wow.
category. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I don't know about
Okay.
Japan.
Okay.
Right. So those are the two types of teachers that they look for.
Mm.
Now,
Yeah.
it's a bit discouraging at first when you get to hear that, there's a sort of bias towards wanting a native teacher, but I
Mm.
will say here we are, we are teaching in these countries and that there's many, many Kenyans.
Yeah.
So, as per requirements,
Mm-hmm.
you have a degree, and that is a diploma, a degree, whatever people call it in different
Yeah.
so English, I don't know. So
Mm.
for me, I think it's important to have. In some institutions or centers, it's not a must for you to hold a degree.
Wow.
But from
Okay.
me, my own experience and what I am feeling, when you have a degree, you're more secure and you have more bargaining power for a better salary.
Yeah.
That's my honest opinion. But yeah, so there are
Mm.
non-degree jobs and there are also degree needed teaching jobs. But for anybody coming in, I would suggest, better for you to be even more marketable, a degree is important. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be pedagogy or teaching education
Mm-hmm.
degree. It need to
Yes.
be, as long as it's a 4-year or even 3-year degree, you're good from a
Mm-hmm.
credible institution, that is. Now,
Yes.
not only do you need a degree, the degree has to be notarized by the government of Kenya or the government, your
Yeah.
government, depending on
Mm-hmm.
what country you're from. Secondly, you do need a teaching certificate. There's, I
Mm.
know we
The
get
mhm.
into there.
The TEFL.
Yeah. Sorry, Joy,
Mm-hmm.
what did
Is that the TEFL certificate?
That's the TEFL certificate. And TEFL, that is TEFL, Teaching English to
Mm.
Foreign
Yeah.
Certificate, or TESOL, which is Teaching English to, I forgot the full, the full
Mm.
meaning, but TESOL
Okay.
is also, maybe we can put it later in the link. But TEFL, a TEFL you can get online for about 5K to 10K or 20K, depending on
Yeah.
which institution you want to get it from. That TEFL
Mm.
certificate also needs to be certified by the country you are coming from or the country it's originating from. If you study it online, mostly from the UK or US, get it solicited or notarized by government or institution or foreign, Ministry of Foreign Affairs from that country, which is fairly cheap. I don't remember how much. It's fairly cheap, and then you ship it to
Yeah.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so those are two things. You do need a passport, quite necessary. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's it. That's
Actually,
it.
Andy,
Yeah.
okay, good. Actually, on my TikTok live last week, someone actually asked that they applied for a job in Vietnam and they were told to get their degree notarized, but
Yes.
we don't have a consulate in Kenya, so they have to go to Tanzania, right? And how much is it? Because they said it's a bit expensive.
It's a bit expensive, honestly, I'm not going to lie. Right. So there are
Mm.
two things that would probably be needed to be done. So once you have your degree,
Yeah.
for Vietnam specifically, there is an advocate who works
Mm.
or lives with the Vietnamese embassy in Tanzania, and I think her name is Belinda, if I remember correct. So once you
Mm.
have your degree, you need to take it to the ministry isainiwe na registrar kwanza, registrar wa shule yenye institution umetoka,
Oh,
iko na degree, right? Degree
yeah.
na inaitwa transcript. It's usually good to do them
Yeah.
both. If you're what's the word?
Mm.
If you
Yeah.
pay too attention to things like me, so those details are usually important. When a degree and you have your transcript together, let it be stamped by the registrar. Then go to the Ministry of Education, Jogo House, if I'm not wrong,
Mm.
and get it. What's the word? Authenticated. It's authenticated by,
Oh, yes.
right.
Yes.
Right. So the lawyer will just now after you talk a Ministry of Education,
Yeah.
the In fact, I did everything in Nakuru. I did not even step into an office. Like it was, I just was calling and say send here, send there. So
Yeah,
you can do literally from wherever you are in the world. It's if your institutions are kind and good with you, you
yeah.
can just work. Now, Ama
Oh,
will do it. Yeah. So
so you did travel to Tanzania?
no, I did not travel to Tanzania after it was
Oh,
by the
that's good.
lawyer
Mm-hmm.
for
Okay.
1,500 Kenyan shillings for the lawyer, and then she directly, I sent her the money, but she DHL'd it on my behalf to Tanzania.
Okay.
About 8,000 shillings for both
Wow.
sending and bringing it back to now your address, wherever part of the
Yeah.
country you are. I think that
Yeah.
price might differ differently, but for me, it was sent to me in my hometown in Nakuru. So it was quite
Oh,
easy. It took me
okay.
about 2 weeks for the whole process. It was quite, I
Wow.
think, in my opinion, fast. um,
Okay.
yeah. So those nitty gritties of authenticating and notarizing are very
Yeah.
important. Otherwise, when you get here, it might be a bit challenging or even more costly.
Mm.
It's
Yes.
more authorized from Vietnam.
Oh, and how much was the price for getting it notarized in Tanzania?
It was cheap, negligible.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I don't know. I don't know why I can't remember, but it was. I think either
Mm.
15, 1,500. It was quite. It was quite not
Oh,
as expensive
oh,
as
that's
I
not
had.
too much.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
because
that's really good to
the,
know.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the receiving. The logistics was more expensive because you're using DHL.
Oh,
Yeah.
because it's like that, but it's still cheaper because if you opt to travel to Tanzania, then you're gonna use more money.
I use more money for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think that's really good. I think that's really so important because people were not so clear whether how that happens and if you need to go to Tanzania or not. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that. Now, at what point do you get your documents notarized? Is it after you get employment or before?
All this is before. All this I
Okay.
advise before you even start doing your first application or sending in, or
Yeah.
before you start about traveling here, because we didn't get into the two of them.
Yeah.
So we were about requirements first. But I'm for the idea that you should do it prior you travel or prior you start even looking for
Ah,
opportunities.
prior travel. So that means before, okay, so after I get the job, then I need to do that process.
Sorry, let me rephrase. Prior
Yeah.
mm, you even start applying before you before you start applying. I
Yes.
advise people to do
Okay.
that.
Okay.
um, it will save you
Mm.
so much chaos and headaches
Yeah.
ukikuja
Yeah.
who is here from this end. Yeah.
I
Hmm.
agree. Good.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about where do we get these jobs? Where, which sites? And I know people keep asking me, are there
Is
agents that actually help, the way we have like Gulf agents that help connect people to jobs? How do we do this?
Yes. Opportunities was the second point, and I
Yes.
don't even enjoy the opportunities here are in plenty. Sometimes I usually feel bad because I know one of the barriers to venturing to Asia is that it's quite far.
Yeah.
It's like land, everything seems so unfamiliar. Like when people hear about
Mm.
Vietnam, it's like, oh, is there still a war? When people hear about Japan, they're like, Guy Uko, do you survive? What do you eat? When people hear about China,
Yeah.
they're like, there's all manner of things that are barriers. But
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know what our governments, I think we need to call them out for this because there has not
Mm.
been in um, consular assistance for Kenyans in this side, so or even other African countries. I don't know what's happening, and the way
Yeah.
when you're back home, all you hear is China. All you hear is all these partnerships with Japan, and you wonder like, mbona
Yeah.
hakuna that closeness?
Mhm.
So anyway,
Yes.
that's all for another discussion. But to
Mm.
be quite opportunities are in plenty. There are two ways to getting
Mm.
jobs.
Yeah.
One, through applications online and through
Mm.
other medias. And the second
Yes.
option, you literally come in to the country via a tourist visa, but with all your
Oh.
documents taken care of, and
Mm-hmm.
you do kind of cold calling or applications whilst here, which is a bit faster than applying from Kenya or applying from your country of origin. So let's start with the first one, applying
Yes.
online. There are, Facebook is quite big in Asia. I think you know that very well.
Yeah,
Facebook is
that's right.
it's still so important in Asia, like nobody's business. I mean, Africa, I think
Mm.
we're same way we're following the West with this Meta group, but Facebook is like number one for jobs
Yeah.
in Vietnam. So I would urge
Mm.
the viewers to actually check out teaching jobs in Vietnam groups on Facebook. So
Yes.
literally search teaching jobs in Vietnam on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Teaching in Vietnam. So you will get
Yes.
a bunch of groups. Now,
Mm.
once you're there, you will start going and sifting through, because every day, I assure you, there's more than 10 jobs posted every day. Some of them
Yeah.
are part-time, some of them are full-time, so you need to watch out and see what is a full-time job, what are the requirements, and what is a part-time job,
Yes.
and what are the requirements, and what do you benefit from.
Mm.
Of course, if you're a
Yes.
new applicant, you'll be looking at a full-time job. So I urge you also to, once ukiingia these groups,
Mm-hmm.
you save the job on your, you can create a list and save the job, so that you can see,
Yeah.
how do I start contacting these people later. I have my
Mm.
document well packaged. It is good to prepare something called, because they'll ask it for you. They'll ask it from you if you do DM or just a private message or email. Sometimes they leave,
Yeah.
not some, all the times they do leave all their contact information, whether it's a school, whether it's a private school, an international school, or a language center. Most of the times it's language centers that are more common.
Yes.
So do this, you can literally call, email them, or chat with them, from whichever contact information they've left. And the first thing they're going to ask is, of course, is for your documentation, and probably a video introducing yourself, about 1 to 2 minutes, where you just say who
Mm.
you are. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So that's one hand of getting jobs here.
Mm.
I I applied to 86 language centers. I still do
Mm-hmm.
remember the 86, and fortunately, I was able to get one amidst the pandemic, like literally
Wow.
in the thick of it all. I was able to get one. So
Yeah.
I'm sure 8 out of 86. So your chances are one. Ni sawa,
Mm.
utatoboa. Kenya pia tunajua people are applying to jobs on a daily, so it's something that you can do. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow. That's amazing.
yeah, sorry, Joy. Sorry for cutting you short.
No, actually, well, I'm just getting impressed by your what you're saying, because this, honestly, one thing I've realized is in Kenya we don't have someone who's telling us this, who's giving us this information. We have literally nobody, and so that's why I'm really excited, because someone is going to listen to you, take action, and
Yeah.
actually go and do it. Now, I'll
Yep.
quickly read some of the questions we have from the people who are in here. Um,
Okay.
Hi, Joy. Can you remember to ask if there's any legit agency that can take someone there? The next one is, are they employing in Vietnam right now? And then the next one is, I really want to travel to teach during my research. Nimeona Vietnam has many job offers for English teachers, but finances are a bit of a challenge. So is there a cheaper way or an agency? Then the Leleti asks, Andy, if I have a soft copy of the TEFL certificate, can it be notarized, or must I have the hard copy with a seal? Then she's asking, I get motivated by you guys. I think I should go on and do teaching now. Yes, yes, come and join us. Then finally, yeah, there's one question. Andy, can any lawyer do this procedure, or there's a specific lawyer? Yes. Sorry.
All right, all right. Thank you. Those are many questions, Joe. I hope I can remember them. First, let me address the agency issue because I feel like that is on demand.
Uh-huh.
Agency Kenya hakuna. There is no agent. That's why I was lamenting about the relationship between these countries. It's not like Gulf or the others which we are used to. There is no agent. Imagine here, it's up to your willingness and, of course, your capability to at least cold email institutions or centers or schools adverts that you see online that you
Mm.
get on. Now, I know it might sound also a bit crazy, but I also went like, you already know you want to find a job in Vietnam. So good.
Yeah.
I went to Google on my, free time, and I was like, I searched for schools because you just literally search international school Vietnam, you'll get a bunch of schools. You can also apply
Yeah.
to those. Schools have good websites and they always have jobs ready. And I mean, like many jobs, not just one. Zinakuanga mingi
Yeah.
sana.
Yeah.
So like ukianza email,
Mm.
um, you might actually you will get a chance. You will get an opportunity because Kenyans are actually on demand this year in
Mm.
Vietnam because we've been
Wow.
kind of now putting effort and wana like these people are actually good teachers and they're wako sawa. Unfortunately there's been a bad and I don't want to get into that, but the famous African country where Wezi Kosa anyone from that country in all of the world wamechoma picha kiasi, so
I
sometimes
know.
right
Yeah.
wamechoma picha, but
Sana.
I'm not putting them in that category, but yes, there has been some cases
Yeah.
over here where, yeah, so they usually are a bit skeptical to hire an African, but Kenyans have really put their country on the map, and I'm just so encouraged to see that more and more people are willing to venture
Yeah.
different. Now, of course, since it's not common, yes, it is a bit expensive to travel to
Yeah.
these countries. I'm not even going to
Yeah.
speak about during the pandemic. That was crazy, but I thank God I got the opportunity. I
Mm.
was in for a long time because of that, but slowly, slowly, I've been removing myself out of that.
Okay.
Now, at the moment, it is quite cheap. Let me repeat. It is quite cheap. Why do I say that? Because of the hardship that are home and what you can do once you're here. It's very quick to get that money back, and I'll get to that. So I
Mm.
hope there's not agency home, but there's no
Yeah.
legitimate agent. You might get an agent online. Now that is something different. Agents are there, but from
Mm.
not from back home. The issue with that for me is that agents are usually misleading, and I haven't
Yeah.
found one story or one person who mwenye nasikia like they are actually very, like this is their job. It's
Yeah.
just that like even my center, the manager is, I could say, a sort of agent because he's done it so many times for different teachers in our center. We are
Yeah.
three Kenyans, by the way. We are three Kenyans. So
Okay.
um, he's done it a couple of times. He's able to help you with your paperwork and whatnot if you need advice. So the contact number that you get from these ads, advertisements or posts for jobs or opportunities, that
Yeah.
person is well capable to help you with everything that you need, whether it's advice of what to do or where to
Yeah.
go. So it's once you do it, from your city to Mesema, but once you contact these people, they'll tell you exactly what they want from you. If they want you
Yeah.
as a teacher, of course, they're going to advise you in any way. Now, for the person who was talking about finances, like I was saying, it's a
Yeah.
bit expensive. Coming here, once I had confirmed that, I'm going to get the job, they
Mm.
offered to pay for a couple of things. They offered at least to pay for the flight, but
Yeah.
it was conditional that I refund that money from my salary either in
Mm.
1 month or I can spread it out in a couple of months. So it is possible to
Yes.
get financing at least
Mm-hmm.
to move. Because I know that ka change is usually what is a bit difficult. So unajua mtu hana sijui nini nini, unatafuta
Yeah.
and a tikiti, Kwanzaa tikiti is a bit expensive because these places are far. So
Yes.
they, you can even plead your case and just say, I don't have the resources right now to maybe at least book a flight. Would you be willing
Yeah.
to, and then you can deduct from my
Yeah.
salary.
Mm.
We have a small agreement even before that. I'm sure
Yeah.
most employers are willing to help. I don't know. Maybe you can shed light on that. If you.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with what Andy is saying. I think, well, let me just say, I think you're sharing such golden information. And like I said, this is really, really good information that can really help. And I see, first of all, I see someone saying, Andy, can you connect me, please? So what I'll actually do for the people who are joining this live, we are going to do, we're going to have a session, like a private session, not YouTube. And we're gonna look at, because I had told some people about applying for Japan border link and they got rejected because Japan is a whole other ball game. And we're going to have a private Zoom meeting, and we're going to help look at your CV and advise you, or maybe do these improvements, help look at your documents, and just really like advise you on how that you can do these things. I'll say the first 10 people, please get in touch with me. I know probably most of you who are joining know how to reach me, or just leave me an inbox either on TikTok, and I'll be able to reach out. And we can really just help you and guide you. The part we're able to play, yeah. So you play your part, we play our part, and we see
Yes.
how we could help you.
Yeah.
So that's good, yeah. So if you now like this video, share, subscribe if you haven't. But anyway, thank you so much. Oh, Lenity, I'm so sorry. I know you're the one who was, she's one of the people who were rejected by Borderlink and GABA. Yeah, because Japan is really a big, I don't know, I don't even know how to say, but it's a big street and all that. But I think by now, by October, they've reached like their maximum hiring capacity. So now that has to be like next year, beginning of next year will be the best time to apply. Now, Andy, let's talk about tourists because this is exciting me that actually you could come as a tourist. That's nice
Yeah.
because that doesn't happen in Japan. You can come as a tourist with your documents notarized and you have all that. And
Yeah.
once you come, you can actually be able to get a job. Now, the last time we went to Vietnam, Andy, I think it was visa on arrival. How is it now? Is it the same or you have to get visa from Kenya?
Yes. Okay, that's a good question. Right. So onto the second way to get here is, yeah, now you can apply to get a visa to get a tourist visa, but it's still visa on arrival. You don't you It's unlike how we are used
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
call it
Mm.
passport, stamped with a visa. So for Vietnam, it's because we don't have any consulate in our
Yeah,
country.
please. Mm.
Get the electronic visa or the visa on arrival letter. So
Yeah.
how to go about getting that now? This is gonna sound so funny because now you need to reach out to a travel agent, and a travel
Oh,
agent quite different from your education or job opportunity agents. So travel agents
yeah.
just for travel, they would consider to help you get a visa for most all of them are usually just a 1 month visa. So you just get
Yeah.
a 1 month visa, which Kenyans are not really denied, especially if you're just coming, unaficha unacheza chini ya maji. Hope they don't catch
Yeah.
that, but you're just saying, I'm just coming to visit, but you have your
Yeah.
papers vizuri, umeweka tu mahali pazuri zisipatikane, and yeah, you come on along like you're just coming to around either Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi, which is the capital, and
Yeah.
I kid you not, like in 2 weeks, if your papers are legit,
Mm.
na si because watu wa River Road huku
Yeah.
ngumu
By the
ngumu
way,
ngumu
I've
sana.
seen, I've seen someone being exported back home because of those river and stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah,
just have your legit stuff. Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Let's be legit. Let's be okay. I know circumstances are quite different for each individual, and we have to
Yeah.
respect that. Your hustle is your hustle, but again, like
Yeah.
I said, having these documents really helps you even with your bargaining power for your salary. So if you have
Yes.
good papers and you're here, umepita on a tourist visa, it's easy for you to get to transition to a business. Sorry, not a
Yeah.
business visa. Your get a contract, and then they'll just start
Mm.
processing your temporary residency. Maybe
Yeah.
the time limit might not be enough for you to
Mm.
jump into the residency. So you might be given the option here. You visit, you do a visa run, which is what kutoka nje, you would know this because sometimes even people in Dubai
Yeah.
have to go to Bahrain or somewhere and then come back because they're just doing a visa run
Yeah.
to extend
Mm.
time in the country. So you can do that with
Okay.
Thailand or Cambodia, which are quite close. You literally unaingia
Mm.
tu hiyo nchi, then unatoka, uendi kukaa, unaenda tu kwa border, then
Yeah.
unarudi. You do.
Yeah.
Uh, you need to extend your time, and then the company that you're
Mm.
working to will cater for your residency.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that's exciting. Now, I think there's something else you say that also. I know probably there are many people who have a diploma and they don't have a degree, and they were asking, can they teach? So, if I get my diploma, if I have a diploma, get it notarized, am I still good?
Actually, I've never, see, ignorance is bad. I've never thought about that, and I don't know
Mm.
how to answer it. Maybe I can put it to mind, and maybe you can do a post about it later, but
Yes.
I don't speak about it because I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. All right,
Yeah.
that's good. Now,
Mm.
so when you get a job in Vietnam, so normally when if you get a job in Japan, you basically on your own. The the company does not give you, the school does not give you a house. You have to rent your own house, furnish it, and all that. Is it the same in Vietnam, or Vietnam they give you a house, or how does it work?
Right, right. So, speaking to my end, I remember, okay, no, majority, not let me speak for myself. So, what I know, which is common here, is you could be given a house depending on where your
Mm.
job. If you're in the major cities, so that is
Yeah,
your capital city and the big hubs, come on, just the way we usually have Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, Kisumu, Kakamega, those big cities.
yeah.
It's highly unlikely you'll be given housing or any sort of accommodation. Highly unlikely, unless you have a very good center somehow.
Mm.
Some centers in the satellite cities just around the country, you're given a house, a place to stay, rent free, and it has everything like
Mm.
your AC needed, and cooking ware and whatnot. You're
Yeah.
given provided for everything. Uh,
Mm.
on my my circumstance was also a bit different. I did get my place ready.
Mm.
Like I chose an apartment online, which they had shared with me. They paid for me because I was in quarantine for
Yeah.
the first. They ended up taking it again from my
Mm.
salary. But the thing is, we are given
Mm.
accommodation allowances, which mine is just good enough. I'm not going to say the amount, but
Mm,
it's
that's nice. Mm-hmm.
given accommodation allowance. So most of the times, if you're a smart guy or
Mm.
girl, you want to live either under that allowance or just at that allowance, because let me tell you what,
Yeah.
it can maximize a lot of things for you. And the good thing with Asia, the good thing with Vietnam is
Yeah.
it's so cheap. It's so cheap, guys, to live here. I was with
Don't
Joy
talk
like
about the phone there.
about that's why
Don't talk
even when
about
we get salaries, I know people will be like, "Guy, Japan wako sawa, Vietnam wako hivi." Don't worry. So, like, as for me, I remember telling Joy, I used to stay in Roysambu area around, not, okay, let's just call it Roysambu area. And then my rent here is cheaper than my rent in Roysambu.
Are you
It's,
serious?
yeah, that's just it. So that's I'm living under that, and I cannot believe it. And I'm quite comfortable. I have an AC. I have everything that you might need in the
Wow.
house, and
Mm.
it's incredible. So life is cheap, expenses,
Mm.
food, mafuta. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say. So you're given housing allowance and you're given a motorbike. So
Wow.
hata kuendesha huku unajifundishanga within a week. Honestly,
Andy, I remember the day you gave me a ride on a motorbike, and it
I
was
did.
your first day.
I, and it was my first time. And how many days did it take me to get it, Joy? Maybe like 2 or 3 days. And I was
Yeah,
like I was entering the streets like I'm one of these people, Bana.
yeah.
Joy,
One
we are laughing. There's an inner joke. Joy tried, and hey, it was
I tried to ride, but basically I was like, no, never. But when Andy got his bike, I think this was 2019, and he gave me a ride, I was like holding my heart. I was literally praying the whole time because because Vietnam is the scooters, yeah, the scooters and motorbikes are like the easiest means of transport, and well, anyway. Now, Andy, so this has been so nice, and we're almost actually past time. And let me see if there are other questions. Oh, truly, Fab, thank you for joining. And then Jade and Amani, and that's Diana. Hey, could you guys have how many names? You have YouTube names, you have TikTok names and Facebook. Okay,
different.
make sure you have your real names on the certificates. That's why they need us to authenticate these certificates because
Right.
okay, let's see. And this is Saidia Jirani. Okay, so now Truly Fab is your neighbor. I think ni wa huko kwenye umesema. This is very, very helpful, Aki. Thanks you. Thank you, Annie. Yes, you're welcome. I hope this really helps. And wow, I like that so my dear. Yes. So we're gonna have a Zoom because if you got rejected by Border Link, let's get into a Zoom. So the first 10 people, and let's look at our CVs and let's look at opportunities that we can, that are there. And honestly, I believe Andy will also share with us opportunities in Vietnam and also share those from this side. So yeah, let's help each other.
Yeah.
Then now, okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about because how I think you mentioned that Vietnam is cheap. Actually, and that was going to be my first question. How is it affordable? Like, can you be able to get to work and save a good amount of money and still live like a decent life?
Sure. That's a good and a very, very important question. And so, teachers, non-native teachers or non-native speakers are paid around, if it's your first year ever teaching and working, you can earn
Yeah.
about $800 to $1,200 for your first year. And
Mhm.
I just the one job that you will do. I'll get into, part times and whatnot later. But your
Yeah.
focus is getting here. And I'm telling you this because it's important to actually know that $800 ni kama 94,000 home in Kenya,
Yeah. Mm.
90,000 and $1,200 is about how much is 1,200? That's
One
money.
130, around 130,
130, 140 because right now the dollar
130,
is high.
140. Yeah. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
think 140, around 140.
Yeah,
Yes.
it could be. It could be around 130, 130-ish. What if say 130? That's a lot of money. Still, not many people are
Yeah.
getting that cash. Now, if you're lucky, you could even get higher than that. That's just what I have gathered for the 1 year that
Mm.
been here by the way for 1.5 years
Yeah.
now. So Vietnam is like Kenya. Ni wajuaji. Watu ni
Yeah.
wajuaji. They know how they're very
Fun.
and they're money minded, they're smart, so they can konora you, but that's why unakuwa sharp ukikuja hizi places. Now you will
Yeah.
realize sometimes you're underpaid or you're supposed to work 100 hours per month. In a day
Yeah.
you can only do maybe 6 hours to 7 hours, a good day of teaching hours. I
Yeah.
normally hitting 6 for the center or rather the school.
Mm.
I find my little part-time jobs. So I've never earned 1,200. I always go beyond that, and that is not my salary. I'm just saying, like,
Wow.
if it's the basic, like, you get, and that is after tax, by the way, my friends. That's
Oh,
after tax.
ooh. Wow,
That's not.
that's nice.
Most of the times you end up getting more because you're doing your little side hustles. Now, for a second year teacher, non-native, you'll be earning close to $1,800 to 2,000 basic. And now, with that, wherever you are, whether it's the city or the
Mm.
big city, ushago, okay, si ushago, ushago za huku si kama ushago za home, so
I
you
nothing
might,
close. Yeah.
right, there's a big dichotomy there, and
Yeah.
because they're advanced or like upper income countries, so they're doing all right even in Mashamba.
Yeah.
So so here, like food, so rent for me is about 11,000 per month, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't really feel like I'm paying it because I'm given
What?
15,000.
11,000.
Yeah, 11,000. And so rent with
I mean,
water,
I'm gonna go to Vietnam now.
rent, water and electricity for me per month, and I stay in a very big studio, but like very big. It's a very
Yeah.
big studio. It has a
Yeah.
queen closet. I have like a small gym set up there. It's big, a kitchenette area, bathroom, and
Wow.
so it's good. It's
Yeah.
really nice. And that amounts to 13K or everything, water and even when I sometimes in summer, of course, you overdo the AC, electricity can go up kidogo, but with the 15K I'm given for like housing, it covers everything. I don't have to think about that.
What?
Go live in
Oh,
a high
mm-hmm.
rise because there are people who do that. Oh, time. Because there are people who do that. Then,
Yeah.
unajua ni kuamua whichever life you want to live. If you want to do the really,
Yeah.
really bush Jew lifestyle, you're able to do that. You can rent a penthouse because you have the money now and
Yeah.
still save because food is so cheap, whether you're cooking or buying.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes
Food is so cheap in Vietnam.
food is so
Fruits, everything.
everything, wild things that you've never even seen. And but anyway, that's for food is cheap. Though utamiss ugali na nyama ya mbuzi.
So let me tell you, Andy, if you are in Japan, that house you'd and plus water, electricity, and everything, you'd be paying a whole 50,000.
Yeah. So
Fifty
this is
thousand. Yeah. So
that's the difference
yeah.
between
So
this
that's
country.
that's the thing. Actually, just comparing the two, uh, you know, Japan, they quote like, oh, you're gonna be paid this and you're excited, and then you come here and it's six. So actually, I'm working on a video about, just helping people understand how expensive it is to live in Japan. But of course, it's just about finding your way around life, being able to just um, being able to live, yes, live well, be comfortable, but also, watch how you spend. Yeah. So, but I love this information. I think we should have part two because it's a lot. We may not be able to cover everything in this one video, but I already know like this is so helpful, and there are people who are going to benefit so much from this. And yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So thank you so much. I see people are saying, was the first, the Ulia in me will carry my Portia meal flour. Please, I come with a whole gunia because, yeah, you can come and sell to us over here. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for all those who joined. I hope this was helpful. Now the ball is in your court. Yeah, you know what to do. You know where to go. And don't let those process of getting your papers together and authorized, don't let that stop you because the door is open. All you need to do is jump. Yeah. So Andy, before we close, please give us your parting shot.
Wow, okay, parting shot. I joy. Unajua kuweka mtu on the guys, I cannot say how much I share with and I lament with Kenyans back home.
Mm,
And I was in those shoes myself, and I really wondered for some time. In fact, I was in a space where I didn't feel so comfortable, and me being me, unajua tu you unajikaza and you keep on looking and searching for other opportunities. The thing is there, honestly, they're there.
Yeah.
So whenever you feel like that umelemewa, don't just stick to yourself. That is the time really to ask and be persistent,
Yeah.
like nobody's business. That persistence, no matter what, even if it's not rewarded as quick as you think or as fast as you might think,
Mm.
somehow it will come around to you. And you know, God always listens to you. And as for those who manifest, those manifestations do come, you know, they do come.
Yes.
I remember, Joy, you and I tried for the same country and you ended up in a completely different
Yeah.
country.
That's
So
right. I was trying for Vietnam.
outright, she was trying. She was trying as well. And I was telling her, encouraging her.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
that persistence, even if it was a whole year of persistence, it did
Yeah.
pay off. So
Yes.
I advise everyone, it might take a year, it might take a
Mm.
month, others,
Yes.
but wherever you are, jiaminie. Hiyo kujiamini, it gives in. At some point, it will give you something. Uta reap something from it. So keep on keeping on, Maze, and you know, I pray that as a nation, as a people, a young people coming up, we can open our minds to all that is good and not evil, all that is to build us and not to destroy us.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. I really appreciate what you shared with us, Andy, because we came from a point where we just like COVID hit us, and we got our jobs ended, and we're like, where? What
Yeah.
next? Yeah. But the thing
Mhm.
is, guys, when you hit rock bottom, don't die there. Wake up, look around. What are the opportunities? And most of the time, we don't think. We just look at, oh, Kenya, there are no jobs, but we never look, try look outside and see, what is there? What can you explore? Yes. So that's it, guys. And really, thank you so much, Andy. I can't thank you enough for really this wonderful sharing, and I believe this is a lot you've shared, and I know there are people who'll be like coming to Vietnam and call you, hey Andy, remember when you shared about this and this? Yes, here I come.
Joy,
Yes.
I need to thank you first of all. I remember I told you
Mm.
this in the last when I really wanted to move here. If you search on YouTube, and for the audience, I think this is for you. If you search on YouTube right now at Kenyans living in Vietnam or
Yeah.
teaching jobs in Vietnam on YouTube, you will only get white folk, Caucasian people talking about it. So
Mm.
their requirements, their needs, their backgrounds are so different that it will not make sense to you. I found
Yes.
one, she was a British, African British. So kidogo
Mm.
kidogo you went through, but still haziko zinashikamana. So I thank you, Joy, for
Mm.
also these types of information to our people, because
Mm.
maybe the strength like you to have a YouTube channel, but I'm here to
Oh.
talk because you've opened up so Joy, God bless you for this. This is a good
Oh,
thing. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
It will help
humbled.
for sure.
Mm.
Mm,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you. That's encouraging, which encourages me, and I'll keep doing this. And, their lives that might be changed. There are people who might get opportunities, and their lives and their families and everyone's life gets transformed. I think that's my joy. Thank you so much.
So,
Okay, thank you, Andy. So have yourself a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for sparing this an hour for us, and thank you for all those viewers who joined us live, and for those who'll be watching later. Leave us your comments, like, and remember to subscribe. That's the free ways of supporting this channel to grow, and maybe reach someone else who may need to watch this. So God bless you all, and have a lovely weekend. It's 9 p.m. here in Japan, and we'll be going to sleep. I think is it 7 in your end or 8?
7.
7. Okay. Thank you, Andy. Have a nice evening and enjoy your Sunday.
You too, Joy. Thank you very much. Waheri.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu.
Uh, Sim Kaman.
Asante sana.
Sawa, sawa.